Do you think significant Haqqani network leaders have been killed by US drone attacks?
Again, that's a very difficult issue to get into. I know in both Pakistan's and the United States counterterrorism work that there have been some commanders, but when you ask me to say, is someone significant or insignificant, I can't comment on that.
Do you think drone attacks are counterproductive? Pakistan says so.
Counterterrorism has many different aspects, so I'm not going to get into one aspect or another. If there is a counterterrorism operation that protects our people in Afghanistan, or protects Afghan citizens in Kabul, or protects Pakistani citizens in Pakistan, then I would say in very general terms that can be useful.
United Nations representative for human rights, I think 2 months ago, she visited Pakistan and she gave a statement here that drone attacks are illegal and that compensation should be given to the heirs of the deceased. Is there any planning from the US side to give any compensation to the heirs of the deceased?
Well, you know what, there are many, many different opinions right now on this kind of counterterrorism. In fact, this is a new enough part of international warfare that it's being debated in universities, it's being debated in government capitals. I think that when someone expresses an opinion like that, we have to respect it, but it doesn't mean that that's the absolute final word.
Even if it's coming from the UN?
Even if it's coming from the UN.
It's also one of the issues that both the governments disagree on. What does the United States want the government of Pakistan do in this particular case?
Our position is that we see no reason why he should be held. At the same time, we have to respect the laws and the courts of Pakistan.
Pakistan says that we've basically not jailed him because he was associated with CIA, we've jailed him because he was associated with the terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Islam.
Well, you know what? The fact is that the story's changed a little bit over time. So let's wait and see what the courts say.
From 2009, $2.84 billion have been disbursed to Pakistan through government organizations, through NGOs. Do you think a common man has not benefited from the US aid?
I think the common man has benefited from an awful lot of this assistance. However, the common man doesn't know about the assistance. So part of the problem is that we haven't communicated as clearly as we should what has actually been done.
I'd like to give you an example. For instance, India. If you meet an Afghan, they would say that India has helped us a lot. It's building hospitals for us, it's constructing roads for us, it's sending Afghan students to India for scholarships. And Pakistan has also built a university in Afghanistan. My question to you is, why don't we see a landmark building, a hospital or a big school or a university for the Pakistani people, which would engage Pakistani people directly with US aid?
We played a fundamental role in establishing and setting up LUMS, for example, the Lahore University Management School. We played a very big role in the original construction of Mangla Dam and Tarbela Dam, and even now we're putting tens of $millions into rehabilitating those dams so that there's more megawatts available for the grid here.
I met some students from FATA, and when I spoke to them, they spoke well of the US. That was a surprise for me. And then they told me that, we get these stipends from the US aid, we get these uniforms and books. So what I mean is, if there's more work on education directly for the Pakistani people in rural areas of Pakistan, that would also help create a goodwill of US.
You know what, I have to agree with you. And I hope that we can design our programs in the future to pay more attention to that.
Now let's talk about Afghanistan. The United States has agreed to free some prisoners from Guantanamo Bay as an initiative to bring Taliban to the negotiating table. Is that true?
The United States wants to talk to all parties. I won't get into any details, but in the end, for real peace and reconciliation in Afghanistan, it must be absolutely Afghan-owned and Afghan directed.
Head of Afghan Peace Council, Salahuddin Rabbani, is soon going to visit Pakistan, and our Prime Minister in his last visit to Afghanistan also met with opposition leaders, and there's the sense that both of the countries are trying to work together to make this reconciliation process work. Yeah. How does US see that?
We think it's very positive. We were very pleased, just delighted in February when your former Prime Minister made a public statement calling for reconciliation, calling for Taliban to participate in reconciliation.
Do you think, from your heart, that long-term strategic interests of Pakistan and United States are aligned?
I think there are many common long-term strategic interests of Pakistan and the United States, of the Pakistani people and the American people. What would those be? Fundamentally, prosperity for Pakistan and for the region, peace and stability for the region, and growing economic ties throughout the region so that there is more prosperity for a good future for the children of Pakistan.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We'll close down our interview on this note. Thank you so much, Ambassador Hoagland.
My pleasure.